Hello and welcome back to Indie Gamer. Today I'm gonna be playing May I Take Your Order? So let's see how that goes. I just wanna make sure the game is being cast on screen. Nope, not through that. Let's try something else. Okay, that works. Let's go with that. So it seems to be running. Let's click start. Okay, that kind of stuff. Alright, I've been filling out a few applications today and this is the last one. Let me close my door. So it's launching. Yay! Yay! Oh. Yay! Okay. And this is the last one. Sorry, I'm getting used to a new system, and I am still getting used to it. I've been applying to work at restaurants all over. It might not seem glamorous, but I want to see how different places run. If I want to open my own restaurant someday, it's crucial to see what does and does not work. A friend told me I should save my top pick for last, and I should really kick him for that. My hands about to fall off. What? It's a pretty ritzy establishment, but comfortable. Fancy but not overpriced. Important clientele, but still kind and inclusive. That's a rare place. If you can't make connections here, you're dead. Okay, financially speaking. And the food, remarkable. I've never heard of anyone having a bad meal there. Okay, I gotta know how they accomplish so much. So I try not to be too nervous and fill this out like it's any other application. My first name is okay. There we go, Dylan. I fill in my address and try not to despair over the handwriting before getting to my personal section. See, why do an application with a freaking form like that? Gender is... I prefer non-binary pronouns. And I finished filling out the form. I kept the pen and then leaned back in my chair. Man, it's nice to be done. You just filled up the form. ... Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in, one at a time. Hey, better get to it. So, for what I understand, it's a storytelling game, because when you have the whole thing at the bottom, it's like it seems to be a pre-made template. It's probably a package in Unity or something like that. So I don't know. 2 weeks later, and I'm waist deep in my first Saturday shift at the restaurant. So much fun. Busy doesn't even begin to describe it. After 7 hours of the weekend rush, I'm ready to go home. Cool drinks. I stop off at table 6 and go through the motions. Thank you for dining with us, sir. My name is Dylan, and I'll be your server this evening. I look pretty manly for a non-binary bitch. He smiles at me, but fair enough. You can be the biggest butch and still be called she. Please To meet you, Mr. Dylan. MX. Ooh, MX Dylan. The guy knows that just by looking at my face. Have you dined with us before, sir? Yes, indeed. I'm quite happy to be back. Just you this evening, sir? No, my girlfriend will be here shortly. I'll just have a cup of coffee while I wait for her. I'll go get that for you right away then. No rush. Countless families and couples have come and gone today, but for the past hour, that one guy's been clogging up table 6. Okay. Are you doing alright, sir? He checks his watch again. Yes, I mistook the time. Should be here any second. He's been saying that for the past 45 minutes. I tell him to pack it up and leave, but he doesn't have the look I'd expect of someone in his position. There's anxiety, but only a little bit. And there's no disappointment. Okay. Not a shred of doubt in his eyes. He really thinks, excuse me. He looks at me. It seems he's come to some sort of decision. Thank goodness. But this is a restaurant with crayons, correct? Yes, sir. We have those for kids. Excellent. A sting of ferocity enters his eyes, one that does not quite pair naturally with crayons. One, please, and red if you've got it. Yeah, sure. I'm not about to argue with the customer, so I head to the front. It's not exactly usual, but the guy has been sitting here for half an hour with no phone. I'm caught between pity and irritation and hope for the umpteenth time that he has enough empathy to tip well on the single cup of coffee he's been nursing. There's a small tin with several crayons. Where I try to keep fresh one ready, I grab... we try to... A red crayon? I snatch up a red crayon. No sense being mean to him. He may be weird, but he's probably having a bad night, too. I bring the crayon back over to him and hand it over. Thank you, MX Dylan. It's no big deal. Are you okay? I saw you don't have a cell phone, but we could call your girlfriend and... No warning, no nothing. He knocks everything off the table and climbs right on. What? Sir, please get down. Oh. Oh, that's supposed to be the customer? Okay. Okay. His deft hand scrolls a wide circle, then another, then sections of areas slicing as though the crayon were a knife. He fills it with symbols. They look small like zodiac signs. Homo sum humani ame nihil alienum puto. It's like I stood up too fast. There the rushing to my head. There the pressure, like my ears are going to pop. Okay. Kaboom. Oh, that's cool. What a twist. The tablecloth rips and there's a spray of sweet-smelling fluid. I leap away from the table as something bursts out. Fuck. Oh, man. What is going on? Wet spiked appendages are flooding all over, slapping and snacking their way over the windows and doors. They are fleshy but soft, too soft, and they mush and disfigure as they slam against everything in sight. Okay. One smacks the ad of another diner who continues to eat a meal. Okay, unfazed. Nobody is screaming, and nobody notices me on the ground, arms raised to protect my face and throat too tight to scream again. That's okay. The thing is screaming enough for the entire restaurant. It's letting out a dual tone screech, high and low, but I can't discern one throat, let alone two. Crayon thrown to the floor, the stood-up guy and worst diner ever starts to call out at it. Worst diner ever. Sweetie! For goodness sakes, put your body on. We're in a nice restaurant. It screeches and roars back at him. I know, but... He waves a bundle of clothes at it. I brought you some clothing. And it's super comfy. It slops up the bundle of fabrics, and the creature bubbles and draws back in on itself, twisting until... Ooh, hey girl. I emerge. The thing. You're here. You had me worried, so I figured I'd help you break the barrier down a bit. Teleportia, you have no idea how good it is to see you. When he says that word, my ears finally pop and my teeth grit. It's a bad word. It's not a cursed word per se, not so much a word you wouldn't say in front of your boss. It feels like the wrong answer in the classroom or meeting. That moment when everyone turns and look at you. I think I should pop up an extra ad for the surprise. That moment when everyone turns and look at you and you just want to sink through the floor. I just want to sink through the floor. I want to very quietly go get my coat and change my name and move to whatever town is on the exact opposite point of the globe from where I'm currently standing. You informed me that the barrier was to be frail in this portion of your world. I will hold you responsible for the trouble. He's beaming at the thing that came out of the hole, but I can't look at it. It hurts to roll my eyeballs toward it, like I'm dehydrated. When I close my eyes, the dark behind my eyelid is so cool and so soft. Okay. There are tears running down my cheeks. I hadn't noticed. The guy, Hendrik, beams and gestures toward the gaggle of eyes and puffy wool. I'm not understanding it. So this is my girlfriend, Teleportia. Impudent microbe. I may choose to carve for myself the form of a creator or a birthing one, but I am capable of far greater creation than your pubescent females, and far more enormously your inflated egoist thinks I would deign to refer to you as a form of companion. A word washed over him like a gentle breeze. It looks like she could rip his face off, but her words just make his eyes brim with joy. So that's the customer. Anyway, we've been dating for about 400 years now, and though the long distance thing is an NC bit of annoyance, we make it work. The moment I finally devise an effective method of accomplishing your demise, I will rip your soul from your ever-regenerating body and shoo it to a groove. I think I need to put an extra out because those kind of games with that kind of UI needs more art than I give it for now. He sits down at the old but destroyed table and picks up his menu. But until that beautiful day when I can be with you forever, you're going to need to eat something else. Talapoya stops. She looks at me and I bounce between eyes, trying to make contact with one that does not stare down into my deepest inadequacies. There is human fuel here, I note. A mouth breaks open into a smile. Excellent. You are spared from punishment, Hendrik, if only for the moment. She sits down, but not on a chair. Dozens of her tentacles are still present through the entire room, spikes driven deep into the surface, blocking all the exit. She settles into one of her squishy appendages, looking pleased. So then, maybe we should order an appetizer. It's not that I can't believe that this is happening. I have an open mind, but as far as sudden supernatural shift to my life, I was really hoping for wizard school, or just a plain old haunting. Some ghosts are pretty cool, right? At least with a zombie or something, I know the rules here. What are the rules with this thing? Hey, don't be so close-minded. Do I throw rice on the ground to stall her? Will she attack me if I touch her with iron? I'd listen to my gut, but I can't make out anything but general foreboding. Demon. You summon demon, so that's it. But I do know something doesn't seem quite right about that. Maybe she's a... excuse me. Oh, I can barely think, but I can at least fall back on one set of rules. I struggle to stutter out the right reply. I don't know. Would you like to start with a soup or salad tonight? The man grins and gives an eager nod. Could I please get the blue cheese salad? And for my sweetie? The Talahipoya rolls her eyes, and her teeth flash as she cuts in. Hendrik, I've been on enough of these sham dates to know that ordering for your companion is rude. His face falls. But it's been ages since you've eaten any food. You're chewing on the fork right now. She gives him a glare and slowly places the slightly bent cutlery back down on the table. Fine. But before he can say any other word, she makes her move. I don't want your advice, though. I want the young human to choose for me. Oh no, he sighed the noise. But he checks himself before looking at me. I think he knows that she's putting me on the spot. I can appreciate that he's trying to look out for me. I mean, I'd appreciate it more if he could have not summoned some kind of eldritch thing during an already busy Saturday shift, or at all. I ease my throat open enough to squeak out. Tomato bisque? This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her, but we make a pretty killer tomato soup here, and it's popular with kids. I have no idea what flavors would taste good to her mouth, so it's best to stick with something with broad appeal. My eyes flit back over to Hendrik, and there's mild disappointment on his face. This isn't what he would have chosen, but it looks like he can work with it. And what would you like for your lunch? She slams a fist down on the table. My stomach clutches. First, bring me the matter. This physical form requires fuel to sustain itself. I turn on my heel and fly out of there. An excuse to leave. If there's if there are any candidly extra-dimensional beings looking down on me right now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I rush into the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, everyone's still bustling out. Other servers are calling in their orders. The ambitious cooks are working. The slightly less ambitious cooks are cracking jokes with each other. They are as oblivious as the customers out front. I can see my manager discussing some menu changes with the head chef. Hey, does anyone else see what's going on out there? But nobody turns to look at me. Hey, I'm serious. What the hell is going on? Are they ignoring me? Do you expect me to just come back here and bring in this order like nothing's wrong? I take a sarcastic tone. Yeah, we got a blue cheese and a bisque for table 6, just another usual night, right? Without warning, a tray with the order is put down on the counter next to me. But other than that, there's no hint of a glance, no guilty looks. Hey, nobody even flinches. Fine. Looks fine. I'm on my own. Yay. And did I tell you how lovely your eyes are this evening? Oh my gosh. From your ever-effusing sewer pipe of compliments brings, something worthwhile. I made most of them myself, but the eye in the center of my head was my reference object. Okay. I couldn't even tell the difference. Your anatomy has gotten so much better since the last decade. It is easier when I have a fresh supply of study material, so I suppose I can remain here long enough to confuse some matter. Let no sentient being claim that I do not repay my debt. Well, that's just one of the perks of the job. Teachers can bring some knowledge. Cooks can bring some home food, and surgeons can bring spare body parts back to their girlfriends, can they? I can say with relative certainty that that isn't how it works. If I ever find out this man's last name, I'm never going to his hospital. I serve Talaipoya a bisque, trying not to get too close. Please be careful, it's very hot. Remember, sweetie, that too much eat can injure, blah blah blah. Silence, mid-garden. Okay. I know what to do with volatile heat sources. Oh, what? She flings the scalding liquid across the table and it hits Hendrik square in the chest. Okay. He rushes out to the bathroom, face red from pain. We don't serve out soup at it that could do permanent damage, but that still has to hurt. She closes most of her eyes and inhales a deep breath, satisfied. When she speaks again, her raw voice has a tranquil tone. Clean it up, human. This is an establishment with standards, is it not? Well, it was, I mutter. The elegant charm might be a bit altered by the sudden presence of giant tentacles. She snuggles out into her seat. This is a gift for your owners. This is a sliver of my true form. Well, it's lovely. Sorry that you didn't like the bisque. Apology unnecessary, human. I enjoyed that immensely. She wraps the scarf around herself. Now that I think about it, the clothing Hendrik brought for her is all very heavy. A maxi skirt, a thick sweater, and a blanket scarf. The way you're clutching that scarf. Are you cold? You may not have my scarf. I retain my heat. I will not continue to generate and retain it. And it will belong to me, not you. Okay. I take a step back. No, that's all your heat, fair and square. She growls happily. Yields, all mine. Hendrik will be procuring more matter this evening, which will continue to power this form. Physical exertion is a luxury, the caloric energy necessary to move but a digit. She lifts one of her own clothes. It's precious. I have gone for thousands of years lying in wait for foolish summoners to fill open rift and let in the good heat from your world. Talaiporia leans down on the table, the edges of the scarf trailing to her bisque. Or at least what's left of it. Is it selfish to be happy that she's disarmed now? Okay. I look at the still present tentacles and recalculate that statement. She at least can't arm me with soup, and that's something. So, human, how do you enjoy generating your own heat? I like it. Physical activity is fun. I too enjoy hunting. Actually, consumption of matter at times comes second to the thrill of pursuing a terrified creature. Well, I was more thinking about exercise, to keep in shape. She stops. Do you waste your fuel on extra heat? No, it isn't a waste. It's fun. She hisses through her jagged teeth. The human enjoys this, do they? Yes, it's nice to be able to move, isn't it? She taps her knives against the glass. Well, I suppose. Yoo-hoo! And Hendrik's returned. Getting along well as might be expected. Still, thank you for keeping her company. We'll eat our appetizer and... She shakes her head. I'm finished with mine. I'm just checking what... Okay. Yeah. I'm finished with mine. He laughs. Of course, how could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now? The next part of the meal, yes, with the larger portions. And drinks point to her menu. So, what were you thinking about? I always like the steak, and I admit that I was kind of thinking about splurging on the... Hey, you man Dylan. I snapped to attention. Yes, madam. Choose. Do it promptly and wisely, or else I will need to consume something else for my main course. She's staring me right in the eyes, and her gazing linger on my mouth. She stares at my teeth and licks her lips. Could she eat my teeth? What? Well, I think you would enjoy... We have live lobster here. Hendrik gives a bit of a nod. That's my order too. It's been a while, but this is a special night. What? At what point did humans discover the joy of consuming a live creature? Wait, she doesn't think I'll serve it to her while it's still No, sweetie, I'm afraid that most of us are still a touch prudish about that sort of thing. But they have a tank here, so the lobster is fresh. Feh, nothing is as fresh as squeezing the life from a creature with your jaw. Feeling it writhe and struggle in a fruitless attempt to save off the icy curtain of death. She's looking straight at my throat. 2 lobster dinners coming right up. I rush away as quickly as I can. I try to convince the chef to let me serve 1 lobster alive. I feel downright ghoulish, but between me and a crustacean, I'm going to defend myself every time. But her reaction is the same as the last time. She prepares the dishes as usual and hands them off to me, never making eye contact or reacting to anything I say. What is this? She lifts up the extra stencil. It's the lobster cracker. You use that to crack open the shell. This is a fair idea, but it's such a waste, Dylan. To use this on a deceased creature. Well, if food is dead, isn't it easier to consume? She waves a claw at me. Not if you have to crack it open anyway. And Rick is already digging the meat out of this. I like it. It's soothing to have a little tactile activity as part of your meal. Tactile activity. Till I pour a close slip on the lobster cracker. Meat shield. How are you employing your tools? Well, you put either end on of the metal bit over, raise it up, and demonstrate. He holds the lobster cracker and 1 leg leaning forward so they're close enough for her to get a good look. She holds up, pantomiming his action, then promptly grabbing one of his hands, wrapping the cracker around his pointer finger and gripping it tightly. Oh. His finger just out of at an odd angle, and blood drips onto the torn tablecloth. She cackles and throws the metal tool at his head. Fool! I can easily employ such a simple item. Ah! He's leaning away from his injured hand, the other on his face. Right, are you? You got me. He sure does look embarrassed. It's really hard to tell through the pain. I mean, that is an expression of pain on his face, right? I guess she got him. He breathed heavily, trying to get himself under control. As though to prove a point, he goes right back to eating dinner. As though nothing went wrong. So before I go, is everything to your liking? Is the food empowering your true form enough? Silly Dylan. When in my true form, I do not consume human fuel. This human template, what did you call it? Hendrik caught mid-bite, and he covers his mouth to respond. Human sauna. Oh, okay. My human sauna? It consumes calories, inhales oxygen, excretes feces, all the same as you yourself, I assume. I never expected to have a restaurant patron ask if I breathe and poop. But here we are. But my true form requires something much more deeply sustaining. She stares at me down. She looks at my teeth again. She looks me in the eye. She holds that eye contact and waits. I try not to squirm, but my moxie is inadequate for this situation. She waits and then laughs. I can breathe again. Delicious, a delight dusting of fear, nothing too overwhelming. If that doesn't strike her as much fear, please let me never ever learn what does. So, you eat fear then? It falls under my purview. Okay, suffering. Sweetie, true from its concept. Okay. This is so weird, but it's cool. And she builds a human sonance to have quite the taste for them too. Sorry. Any form of important emotion can sustain her. Okay, but she's picky. I am not. Suffering if the only thing was eating. Eating anything else would be beneath me. It's okay. Whatever you eat. I love you just the way you are. And I would like you much better with several more stabs wounds on the head. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a toxic relationship. She's feeding off his suffering and his trauma bonded. So I don't know, it's kind of a weird metaphor for an abusive relationship. Anytime, sweetie. I thought I'd manage to sneak away for the next 15 minutes. I know that I'll eventually have to return. I try to strike up a conversation with the line. And Miss Western moms are not into dripping fluids. I mean, as a general group. I don't want to assume individual tests. This gets boring quickly, so after the appropriate waiting period, I head back over. So, thank you for dining with us tonight. I did it. I made it through the evening. I'm tempted to not even give them a shake, to just rush them right out of the door, but I refuse to slip up now. It's been a delight getting to know the both of you. How kind of you. You know, I was planning on heading out, but you know what? I could not care less if I attempted, and I am very powerful. I am capable of caring far less than most humans could in their most apathetic dreams. Let's do desserts. Oh, okay. I look from his smiling face to Talapoya's cruel one. I know how this goes. Let's make a recommendation. Ooh. Fuck it. Caution to the wind. Bananas Foster Flambe. Is my professionalism slipping? Must be. What are we impregnating? Sweetie, it's a figure of speech. I don't have that function this time around. Sweetie, I think they're just tired. That's okay. I think if I want this to be a truly satisfying night for our esteemed void goddess, then she's going to enjoy this dessert, or at least how we cook it. What is this blathering about? But I can tell you I've got her hooked. We cook it tableside, with a huge flame. And there it is. I'm not sure about this. Looks like he's picked up on the pattern too. Oh, I insist. I don't even need to write this one down. One flambing dessert for table 6. I scramble about the kitchen, grabbing everything I need. Am I cleared to do this? Hell no. 2 weeks is not long enough to have permission to set things on fire next to the diners. But tonight's special, isn't it? I wheel the cat over, feeling a mite chatty. I take my time prepping to light it on fire. So congrats on getting out of, what did you call it? The cold place? The void. Void, God, what it's like in there. Dark, cold, mostly barren. Locked for something approaching an eternity with nothing but your own thought. Unless one can become creative. I do my best to make creatures to feel it, but it is a vast expanse. Literally endlessly big. But with nothing in it. Yeah, I caught part of your conversation before you made your body, right? Indeed, when rifts become open, I am able to seize not only it, but stray matter. I model the majority of my creation after your carbon-based life form, but modification must be made. I'll bet if the void doesn't have heat or any of its own matter, you'd need to make creatures that don't eat or breathe, right? Good human. I model most of them after myself, and you eat concept. Yes. After billions and billions of years, I have evolved over 1 million species of void creatures. Nearly all of them feed as I do on the concept of suffering. So it's a landless, barren place with no light, no heat, where the only thing that exists just go around preying on each other's suffering all the time. Huh? She looks happy. Yes. Is it not marvelous? And someday, human Dylan, there will be a rift large enough that it is not tiny scrap and stray humans which fall through, but your entire plane of existence. Telepoia. You will enjoy it. Wouldn't I eat it? I got distracted here for a bit, but I grabbed the rum. Can't caramelize it right without a pretty flame. I mean, I don't enjoy suffering. You'd be surprised what human can get used to. I used the wrong English word. A closer translation might be resignation. You would become resigned to an existence saturated with pain. Enjoy isn't the correct term, unless you're a disgusting cluster of miswired brain signals. Love you too, sweetie. I know. I know what you're doing, Hendrik. You think if I can keep delaying me with fancy dinners, stolen body parts, gentle words, and rough sex, could we not talk about our sex life in public, thank you? She places her hand on his arm. That you can stop me. You are, as always, disgusting but an appealing opponent. Look out! And I light it up. The flame shines in her eyes, and I can feel the heat coming of it. I should probably be keeping a close eye on it to make sure it's cooking properly. But look over at Hendrix and Talapora. They're holding hands, so simply and happily. She's gripping his hand tightly from joy. And then she jerks him across the table, straight into the flaming cart. Now that burns. That's one that could cause permanent damage. Oh my gosh. Though you may be lucky that that's the worst thing that happened to him tonight. He executes a perfect stop, drop and roll, and soon the flames out. Oh my gosh. Yeesh. 3 spheres from ungathered. Humans, this was a fantastic diner. I'm always confused between the two. Bring us the statement, so that we might repay you for your noble worship and gifts. I salute and wheel what remains of the upturned cart away. It's not long before I return with the bill in hand. He takes the check. He seems to do a bit of calculation in his head and then lays down some cash. Well, this evening wasn't a complete waste of time and effort. Organ ravioli? Oh man, Hendrix looks up at her. You may have one short friendly embrace. He jumps to his feet, arm wide open to hug her, and one of her tentacles slams into him, throwing his body across the room. It slams into the wall and ragdolls to the ground. Hug transaction complete. Oh no, did you just kill him? She heaves a sigh. Would I were so lucky? No, human, I have merely rendered him unconscious. That's good. Via several cranial hemorrhaging. That's bad. He will sleep it off. I have ripped off his limb before. He can take it. She looks almost frowned. She gets up, walks over to him and grabs him by the foot. I suppose it is time to return him to his residence. She perks up. Or I can abandon his body on a trash unit. Perhaps nobody will find him, and he will be placed inside a trash compactor. As she turns to drag him away, I ask, Miss Talapoya? She turns quizzical. Human, I am departing. You have made it through this evening unscathed. You have little to no ability to comprehend how fortunate that makes you, but I suggest you make an attempt. I clear my throat. I think I'm trapped. I gestured around at the restaurant. Oh yes, I had forgotten. Your world usually has even more light, does it not? She shrugs. Well, I had no hands in this. And with that, she waves aside a tentacle and marches through the front door. Hendrix's head thuds against the ground as she walks down the staircase and out of sight. When I hear the front door close, another server bumps me in the shoulders, stepping past. They give me a dirty look and keep heading their way. Just like that, I am back. I get moving, clearing the table, scooping up the check. I check the tip. 40%. It might not cover emotional distress, but it'll cap out the shift well. This was quite the experience. But for my own safety, I think I'm going to skip the 2 weeks notice. I came here to learn something new, and I'd say that goal was more than accomplished. Well, that's a good 5 hearts. The story is cool, unexpected, that's for sure. I was not going into that story with that in mind. So good on you for the surprise. Ending for a goodbye, and there's many endings, so that's cool. I'm really curious to know what the other endings are. Well, thank you for this game. May I take your order? It was pretty cool. That's it for today's cast. Thank you for creating that story. Thanks to my patrons, and on this note, I'll see you next time.